I am MSc Promasantana Borsha. My teammates are Hafizuddin Ifti and Mahati Hussain Kabbo. Today, our presentation topic is impacts of climate change and human activities on hydrological cycle. Hydrology is the scientific study of the movement and distribution of water on the earth. The hydrological cycle involves the continuous circulation of water in the earth atmosphere system. As its core, the water cycle is the motion of the water from the ground to the atmosphere and back again. There are many processes involved in hydrologic cycle, which are precipitation, evaporation, evapotranspiration, condensation, infiltration, runoff, etc. Climate change refers to the long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, but since the 19th century, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. At present, climate change is the big issue and it is responsible for warmer, wetter, and drier weather conditions. According to the IPCC's 2008 report, the spatial variability of precipitation over the 20th century has been significant. Notably, there has been a decrease in precipitation from 10 degrees south to 30 degrees north latitude, while high northern latitudes have experienced an increase in precipitation since 1917. In regions like the middle of the Yangtze River, hydrological droughts, the extraction of water for agriculture and industrial purposes has strained natural water reservoirs, increasing drought conditions and serious threats to ecosystems and human health. Here is the picture which shows influences of global hydrological cycle in context of climate change. Now I am inviting my teammate Mahadi for discussing in detail, specifically the impact of climate change on hydrological cycle.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mahdi Hussain. I will discuss impacts of climate change on hydrologic cycle in detail. We know global warming is a prime cause of sea level rise. In some areas of the world, more precipitation is falling as rain than as ice or snow due to warm air, which leads to extreme flooding in coastal communities around the world. We observe higher temperature. High temperature mean there is more evaporation from the land and sea into the atmosphere, and as air gets more warmer, it can hold more water. This can lead to more intense rainstorm. Intense rainstorm increases the risk of flooding. Much of the water runs off into rivers and streams, doing little to dampen soil. This combined with increased temperature increases the risk of drought. This combined with increased temperature increases the risk of drought. So we observe the warmer air that causes increased evaporation makes the soil dried out. Here we observe figure which explain us the major climate change impacts. We observe here changing rain and snow patterns, changing in animal migration and life cycle, less snow and ice in the mountains, stronger storms, higher temperature, and more heat waves, which we are currently observing in Dhaka, more droughts and wildfire, thawing permafrost, changes in plant life cycle, warmer ocean, rising sea level, which is a very concerning climate change impact, the damaged corals. In Bangladesh, changing rain and snow patterns is a major have a major effect on human life because we are observing in rainy season more rains, and in summer time there is less rain, which makes our agriculture difficult. Rising ocean temperature is also impact of climate change, which can cause thermal stress to the creatures, resulting in coral bleaching and leaving them prone to infectious disease. We observe altered ocean currents due to climate change, lead to changes in connectivity and temperature regimes that contribute to a lack of food for corals and hamper the dispersal of coral larvae. Ocean acidification causes a reduction in pH level, which decreases coral growth and structural integrity. We observe tropical storm and hurricanes are likely to become more intense, which and produce stronger peak winds, produce increased rainfall, and for this they can cause larger storm surges because of a warming sea surface temperature. And in our country, in coastal areas, larger storm surges is a major concern of the local population. Every year in rainy season, there are some major and minor storm surges in our coastal areas. And now I am inviting my teammate Audrey Hafiz to discuss the human impact on hydrologic cycle specifically.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Hafizuddin Ifti. I am going to discuss about how human activities affect the hydrologic cycle. Global warming, climate change, and other related phenomena are caused by human activities, as exemplified by deforestation, agriculture, rapid urbanization, and construction of dams. Humans are the major culprits since industrial revolutions that have made contributions to uh, global warming, greenhouse effect, fossil fuel burning, using chlorofluorocarbons that cause the world's temperature to rise every year. We are uh, we are introducing with the highest temperature than previous year during summer. It is caused by global anthropogenic activities, uh, drought, drought and heavy rainfall. That is also related with climate change and caused by human activities. Ice caps are melting, sea level are rising day by day, and storms and hurricanes are common phenomenon in the coastal areas. And at the same time, humans are constructing dams for hydroelectric power generation. If we see the hydrologic cycle from the source to sink, like catchment area, from source due to the dams, river river flow direction is changed in the upstream direction. So sediment supply and uh, water supply has reduced, and at the same time, sea level is rising. So saltwater intrusion and storms, hurricanes, and soil erosion are common phenomenon in the coastal areas. Now, I would like to um, talk about the deforestation. Deforestation means rapidly cutting trees. It has a major impact on the local and global water cycle. Then urbanization, less water to infiltrate, agriculture like removal of surface water and groundwater for irrigation changes the water's natural distribution and impacts the ecosystem that depend upon it. Irrigation water that return to either groundwater or surface water can contain salts, pesticides that are nutrient rich, like nitrogen rich contaminants, nitrogen rich compounds. These contaminants in turn can cause harm to plant and animal life that depend on returned water. Now I am going to talk about the threats to water cycle. Interception of rainfall is reduced due to removal of trees, because if there is no trees, uh, evaporation is less and rainfall will be also less. Precipitation is usually higher than in rural areas. Evapotranspiration is much lower. Surface runoff is much larger. Groundwater runoff, infiltration and recharge is small. As rapid urbanization caused uh, the soil to less infiltrate, because uh, impervious layer, due to impervious layer, most of the water is being run off. So frequency of surface runoff is increased, runoff volume and peak flows in rivers are higher. Less infiltration, so it has a major impact on hydrologic cycle, like groundwater level will be decreased because of less infiltration. So these are the references from where we collected our information. Thank you, ma'am.